Good morning students, I am Vinod from Department of Civil Engineering. Now I will explain some of the problems or some of the example problems in columns and studs. Okay, let us start now. So here see one example problem. See here a solid round bar 4 meters long and 5 centimeters in dia used found to extended 4.6 mm under a tensile load of 50 kilonewtons. Okay, this bar is used as strut with both ends hinged. Determine the buckling load for the bar and safe load taking factor of safety as 4.0. Okay, here the problem clearly mentioned that it is a solid round bar which is used as a strut. It is having 4 meters long and diameter of 5 centimeters and the extension of length will be 4.6 mm under a load of 50 kilonewtons. So the bar is used as a strut with both ends are hinged. This is the main important condition. So here the determine the buckling load. Buckling load is nothing but crippling load. So both are synonyms, don't confuse. So here the formula for to calculate the crippling load is nothing but P is equal to pi square EI by LE square. Okay, here the first of all calculate I is equal to moment of inertia. This here giving 5 centimeters in dia. That's clearly mentioned that it is a circular section. So the what is the value of I for circular section? That is nothing but pi by 64 d to the power of 4. Okay, that is equal to pi by 64. 5 centimeters is nothing but 50 mm whole to the power of 4 mm to the power of 4. Okay, this is the value of I. Next one LE, effective length. So here the given the condition is both ends are hinged. So effective length is always equal to the actual length, that is equal to 4 meters is nothing but 4000 mm. Now we are able to calculate E, Young's modulus, but they didn't give any value of E. How can you find that? Here generally we know E is equal to stress by strain, right? So what is the formula for stress is equal to load by area. At the same time E is equal to change in length by original length. So E is equal to P by A, sigma P by A by strain delta L by L, that is equal to P here already given 50 kilonewtons and area here 5 centimeters na. So pi by 4 550 cm whole square, that is area. Next to delta L here giving extended 4.6 mm. So 4.6 by the length of the column will equal to 4 meters, that is equal to 400 mm. In this way we are calculating all these things are substituted in this formula. We are able to calculate the buckling load. Then we are also calculate safe load is equal to crippling load or buckling load by factor of safety. So this P by factor of safety 4, then we are able to calculate the safe load. So here clear, here we are calculating only E value based on stress and strain formulas. Okay, come to next problem. Here a simply supported beam, not a column, it is a beam of length 4 meters is subjected to a UDL, means uniformly distributed load of 30 kilonewton per meter over the whole span and deflects 15 mm at the center. Okay, determine the crippling load when this beam is used as a column with the following conditions. Okay, here giving two conditions, one end is fixed and other end is hinged, and next one both ends are pin jointed. Okay, see here one end is fixed and other end is hinged and both ends are pin jointed. Okay, here see here a simply supported beam of length 4 meters is subjected to a UDL of, so this is a 4 meters span and carries UDL of 30 kilonewton per meter. Okay, let us wait. So here determine the crippling load. What is the formula to calculating the crippling load? P is equal to pi square EI by LE square. Here E is Young's modulus, I is moment of inertia and LE is the effective length. But to calculating E and I, they didn't give any cross-sectional dimensions. Without cross-sectional dimensions, we are unable to calculate moment of inertia as well as Young's modulus. So here how we will able to calculate? Here they will give deflection 15 mm and it is a UDL. So here we are writing the formula for calculate the deflection in simply supported beam while calculating the UDL is nothing but delta is equal to 5384 W into L power 4 W into EI by L power 4. Okay, W into EI by L power 4, 5 by 384. Based on this formula we are calculating the EI. Okay, so here delta 15 centimeters and L also we are having 4 meters, then all these things are substituted, then we are calculated E into I. So E into I also known as flexural rigidity. Then substituting EI, so these things will be okay. Next, effective length will be based on these condition. One end is fixed, other end is free. LE is equal to L by 2. Next, both ends are pin jointed. LE is equal to L. Okay, these values are substituted in this equation. Then we are able to calculate the crippling load P. Okay, so this is another type of problem. I think all of you understood. Okay, up to now we have discussed about long columns. So the Euler's crippling load formula only applicable for long columns only. In case of short columns, they will be failed by crushing alone. But the medium type of columns, how they will be failure occurred. So here Rankins gives one more empirical formula which is used to calculate the crippling load in case of medium size of columns. So this is the empirical formula. I think all of you know about empirical formula is nothing but it doesn't have any derivations and derivations. So it is one empirical formula. Rankins given this formula, that's why it is called it as a Rankins formula. P is equal to sigma C into A by 1 plus alpha LE by K whole square. So here P is a crippling load, sigma C crushing stress, and A area, alpha, here alpha is equal to sigma C by pi square E, it is a constant, and LE effective length, K least radius of gyration. Okay, K is equal to square root of I by A. Okay, I by Y. So based on this formula we are able to calculate the K. Sigma C A alpha LE by K whole square. It is nothing but Rankins formula for crippling load. Here the sigma C and sigma alpha will be given some of the materials. So iron column sigma C 250, alpha 1 by 9000. Cast iron columns 550, 1 by 1600. For mild steel 320, 1 by 7500. For timber section 50, 1 by 750. So these are the standard values and they will also given in problems. There is no confused. Okay, crippling load is equal to crushing stress into area. by 1 plus alpha, it is a constant which is depends upon the material, and LE is effective length and K is a least radius of gyration. And another more formula, that is nothing but straight line formula, which is also used for calculate the crippling load in medium size of columns. So here P is crippling load, sigma stress, here sigma C is nothing but compressive yield stress. Okay, in Rankine's formula it is crushing stress, and here compressive yield stress. A area, N is a constant which is depends upon the material, and LE effective length, and K is a radius of gyration, and A is area. Okay, don't be confused. Next one, Johnson parabolic formula. Here P is equal to sigma C into A minus R into LE by K into A. Here sigma C also compressive yield stress, A area, R is a constant, will be calculated like this, and LE effective length, and K is a least radius of gyration. And this is Indian Standard Code formula. Sigma C dash is equal to sigma Y by M 1 plus 0.20 secant LE by K square root of M by sigma C dash by 4E. Then substitute sigma C in this equation, 1.2 minus LE by 800 into K. Here sigma C were calculated from this formula. M is modular ratio. Next K is least lateral radius of gyration, and LE is effective length. Okay, so these are the remaining empirical formulas which we are used for to calculating the crippling stress in medium size of columns. Those are Rankine's formula and straight line formula, Johnson parabolic formula, and Indian Standard Code formula. Okay, and I will also give one more example regarding how to calculate the critical load or crippling load based on Euler's formula here. So you see here, this is a T section having 10 centimeters of width, 1 centimeters of depth. At the same time, it's having web portion of 1 centimeter thick and 7 centimeters of depth, and it is overall depth is equal to 8 centimeters. So once again, see the formula. Calculate the Euler's critical load for a strut of T section. The flange and width dimensions I already explained here. Next, see here, the strut is 3 meters long. So means L is equal to 3 meters. Next, it's built in both ends. Built in is nothing but fixed ends. Okay, don't be confused. Fixed end is also known it as a built-in ends. And take E is equal to 2 into 10 to power of 5 Newton per mm square. So the formula to calculate the crippling load is equal to P is equal to pi square EI by LE square. Here we are having E and LE, it is fixed end. So LE is equal to L by 2, that is equal to 3 meters by 2, that is equal to 1.5 meters. Then here we are calculating the I, that is nothing but moment of inertia. For any kind of these kind of sections, we are having two kinds of moment of inertia. Those are IXX and IYY. So here we are calculate IXX and IYY, both these things, and use whichever is less. Either IXX is less, it is used as I, otherwise IYY is less, it is used as I in this formula. So now I explain how to calculate IXX and IYY in this T section. So first of all, IXX. So to calculate IXX, before we are able to find out the centroidal distance of the T section, that is nothing but Y1 bar. So the formula for Y1 bar is equal to A1 Y1 plus A2 Y2 by A1 plus A2. Okay, so divide this entire T section into two parts, first part and second part. So A1 Y1 for first part and A2 Y2 for second part. So see here A1, area of this flange section. So width into depth. So A1 is equal to 10 into 1, 10 centimeters by 1 centimeters. Next Y1 is equal to D by 2 means 1 by 2 plus remaining web depth is equal to 7. Don't be confused. Depth of web plus half of the depth of flange is nothing but Y1. Next comes to A2 is equal to 7 by 1. Okay, 7 into 1, and Y2 is equal to from here 7 by 2, that is equal to 3.5 centimeter. Okay, substitute all these things, we are able to calculate the Y1 bar. Next we are calculate Y2 bar. So first of all fix the Y1 bar. So this is Y1 bar and this is Y2 bar. How we will get Y2 bar? The overall depth is equal to 8 centimeters minus we are already calculate Y bar. So here Y1 bar. Then we are calculating the Y2 bar. The Y2 bar will be here. Y1 bar will be here. So now calculate Ixx. The formula for Ixx is equal to B1 D1 cube by 12 plus A1 into Y2 bar minus D by 2 whole square and plus B2 D2 cube by 12 plus A2, sorry, I will see here, Ixx, the sense B1 D1 cube by 12 plus A1 into Y2 bar minus D by 2 whole square. Okay, next plus B2 D2 cube by 12 plus A2 into Y1 bar minus D2 by 2. Okay, see here B1 width of the flange 10 into D1 depth of flange is nothing but 1 centimeter cube by 12. A1 area of this section 10 into 1, 10 into 1 into Y2 bar, we are already calculated here. Y2 bar means 8 minus Y1, then D by 2, D1 by 2, D1 is equal to 1. So that is equal to Y2 bar minus 1 by 2 whole square. Next see here B2 is for web portion, B2 1 into D is equal to 7 cube by 12 plus A2 7 into 1. Here Y1 bar we are already calculated here, Y1 bar minus D2 7 by 2. Okay, here we are calculated Ixx and Iyy is equal to D1 B cube by 12 plus D2 B2 cube by 12. So here 1 into 10 cube by 12 plus here 7 into 1 cube by 12. So here calculated Iyy and Ixx. Here we are using whichever is less. In this way we are calculating the crippling load in this T section. Okay, clear? Now I want to explain small topic. This is the last topic in this unit. This is nothing but eccentricity. So what is meant by eccentricity? Eccentricity is nothing but it is a gap between line of action of the member to the line of action of the load. For example, it is a column member. This is line of action of the column, means centroidal axis. The load also acting in the same manner. It is nothing but it is a normal column. Otherwise, the column section, line of action of column section will be there, and the load will be acting some distance away from the line of action of the column. Okay, this distance we will call it as a eccentricity. Understood? Eccentricity in the sense the line of action of the load and the line of action of column will be not at the same line of action. Okay, this is nothing but eccentricity. Now I will explain how to calculate the crippling load in a column due to the eccentric load by taking as a problem as a example. Okay, see here, a column of circular section is subjected to a load of 120 kilonewtons. The load is parallel to the axis but eccentricity by an amount of 2.5 mm. So the external and internal diameters of the columns are 60 mm and 50 mm respectively. If both ends of the column are hinged and the column is 2.1 meter long, then determine the maximum stress in the column. Take E is equal to 200 giganewton per mm square. So here they want to calculate the maximum stress and they will give load value, at the same time internal and external diameters, eccentricity. So first of all, given data, external diameter of the column, what is the value? 60 mm, and internal diameter of the column 50 mm, length of the column 2.1 meter, that is nothing but 2100 mm, load is equal to 120 kilonewtons, eccentricity is equal to 2.5 mm, and they will also give E in the sense 200 giganewton per meter square, that is equal to 2 into 10 to power of 9 Newton per meter square E. Okay, so this is the given data. So how to calculate the maximum stress in the column due to the eccentric load is nothing but this is the formula to calculate the maximum stress. Sigma max is equal to P by A plus P into E into secant of LE by 2 into square root of P by EI by Z. Okay, so here P is equal to load, that is already given here, 120 kilonewtons. Next A is equal to area. It is a circular section and hollow circular section, because of here external and internal diameters are given, that is equal to pi by 4 d naught square plus di square. Okay, otherwise instead of these two things we are using external diameter only. A is equal to pi by 4 d square. So already next E is equal to eccentricity 2.5 mm. Okay, next here LE is equal to effective length. So what is here the condition? Both ends of the column are hinged. So LE is equal to actual length, that is equal to 2100 mm. Next here E already given 200 giganewton per m square, and finally Z is nothing but section modulus, that is equal to I by Y. Okay, so here I also we are able to calculate it here. For a circular hollow section, I is equal to pi by 64 d naught to the power of 4 minus di to the power of 4. Next y is equal to d naught by 2. Then substitute all these things in this formula. Z also calculated. Then all these things substituted here, we are able to calculate the maximum stress in case of a column with eccentric loading. Okay, I hope all of you understood. Thank you.